Sorry about that. We've had some pretty bad storms here in South Carolina over the past few hours, and I'm having some technical difficulties, but we are on and we are ready to go. So I'm going to continue editing an image that I started 2 weeks ago. I had baseball practice this week and was unable to get online. We had baseball practice that went late for my son. So I'm pulling this up here. And I'm going to share that screen. Here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. So this is the image that we edited last time, and this is what we ended up with through Photoshop or through Lightroom. Now we're going to throw this image over into Photoshop and do a bit of editing over there. So we're going to edit Photoshop. There we go. I'm going to stop sharing that. Go. Now, first things first, I'm going to fit that one on the screen. I'm going to use another tool here. So we have the image over in Photoshop, and I'm going to continue with the edit here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is run an action called Clear Sky. There's a link in the description. And that takes a few seconds to run. And those are some finishing actions in Photoshop, and it gives you some options to choose from. Gives you 5 images. With different levels of clarity. I usually like a 3 or 4. I'm going to go with a 3 this time. And I am going to delete the other layers. Yes, I would like to delete. And now for the next step, I'm going to run Nik Collection Color Effects Pro. I don't want the new version now. And I've got some recipes stored as favorites. It's usually going to be one of these 2 that I'm going to use, either Super Punch or Clarity Bump. Also play around with Warm Sunset. And I've got this one, Wildlife Soft and Dreamy, but I don't like it for this. But I've got just a little bit too much correct contrast. So we're going to lower that down a little bit. I'm going to push the dynamic contrast up just a little bit. And we always check the correct color cast just to see what it'll do, but I like this image as a nice warm image. So I'm going to keep it as that. And we're going to apply that filter. There we go. It lightened it up. Also shows this sensor spot that I've got up here. I'm going to go ahead and knock that out with the healing brush. And now I'm going to stamp up. I'm using Pro Panel to do a lot of heavy lifting for me. I'm going to stamp up. It just creates a duplicate layer to stamp up, and I'm going to run an additional filter. This will be Skylum's Luminar 4. Luminar Neo is the most recent version, and there's some pretty cool things that it does, and I like it, but I really like Luminar 4. And in Luminar 4, I've got some Luminar looks. I've downloaded the Seascape pack and can hover over the different looks to see what's going to get me closest to what I'd like to have. Some of them are really weird. And actually, I kind of tend to gravitate towards this misty mood. Oh, you know what? You can't see that screen. So there we go. Again, shows up Luminar. We're going to run through these. And I like Misty Mood. Do some adjustments on the slider. Kind of heavy. I really like it because it brings out a lot of the bright stars in the core of the Milky Way here. And we're going to apply that. So we're going to do it this way. There we go. So, as always, we're going to name our layers. Luminar, before and after. And one thing that you can do, and I do this from time to time, is always keep in mind that you can target per specific parts of this image by adding a layer mask. So I'm going to throw a layer mask on here, and I'm going to grab a brush and my opacity. I usually like to use an opacity of about 15% with a flow rate of 35. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I am going to take some of this out right over here on this edge. I've got some light pollution. There's some light pollution coming off of the Garden City Myrtle Beach area just to the north.